Hi everyone, this is JEM. My name is Juanita E. Mance. I go by JEM for short. That's JEM. And this podcast is called Life of JEM, My Life in the Inland Empire. And it's based on my decade-long blog about me, a girl who grew up in the Inland Empire, who left the Inland Empire, but who eventually ended up right back where she began. Now, I grew up here in Ontario, California, right where this studio sits, in the 1970s and 1980s. And I am an after high school special about what not to do in high school. I went from a goody two-shoes, smarty pants, to a punk rock high school dropout, to a USC educated corporate lawyer, to a punk rock public defender who works in Riverside, California. Now, I'm a memoir in the making, and I actually have written a memoir, and that should be coming out next year. It's called My Inland Empire. Tonight, I'm going to read you one of the stories from my memoir, and it's about my passion other than creative writing and the law, and that passion is music, specifically punk and post-punk music. And I hope a lot of you out there watching love the same music as I do. And I feel nowhere more comfortable than when I'm at a concert. But this season, all of my concerts got canceled. From Nick Cave to New Order to Pet Shop Boys to Morrissey to X to Sledford Mods. And if you don't know who the Sledford Mods are, look them up. You will love them. They are like a modern day Sex Pistols. So after my story, I have two. I may read one, I may read two. But after my story, I'd like people to call in. And that number to call in, so you can write it down, is 909-534-5684. That's 909-534-5684. And I'll repeat that later. And when you call in, I want to talk about music and how, to music people, music touches a place so deep in us that it triggers memories. When I write a story, the first thing I do is play a song. I have the memory of when I met my best friend Tracy in sociology class at Chaffey High School. And the reason we became friends is because we both had the Smiths written in purple cursive on our peachy folders. And I remember the first time we hung out, of course, we played the first Smiths album. Or how about the time I met my other best friend, Melinda, and we used to play the Cars Candy-O in her parents' apartment and jump up and down and then go play Pac-Man. Yeah, Melinda had a Pac-Man machine in her apartment. It was pretty amazing. Now, when you call in, I want people to wax nostalgic about their favorite bands, their favorite shows, and there's no shame here. I love all genres of music, and I even had a secret crush on Sean Cassidy when I was little. Taxi dance. So, and even more important, at the end of the show today, we are going to give away a piece of epic vinyl. This is vintage. Can you see it? Vintage. This is not Beauty and the Beat, which is the Go-Go's best album. This is their second album, Vacation, and I curated this especially for whoever wins tonight, and you're going to have to answer a trivia question about the one and only Belinda Carlisle. And the reason we're giving away a Go-Go's album is because my story is called Being Belinda and Other Fantasies of Childhood. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Delilah, and I own Hotbox Vintage in South Pasadena, California. At Hotbox, our goal is curating vintage pieces that you can't live without. Our collection includes everything from the 1940s to even the early 2000s. What excites us is eclectic and unconventional style, since there's no one-size-fits-all approach to fashion. Hotbox is priced for accessibility so that literally anyone can discover some vintage gems of their own. Plus, it's sustainable. Find us on Instagram and use code RAGHOUSE at checkout for 20% off your first order at hotboxvintage.com.
on being Belinda and other fantasies of childhood. When I was in the last stages of elementary school, circa 1981, my favorite band was the Go-Go's. My dad had a huge laser disc player. It probably weighed 5 or 10 pounds. And what you would put in this laser disc player are laser discs that were about one and a half times the size of a vinyl record. And my dad would go to Pomona, California to rent these discs. And one time he came home with the live concerts of the Go-Go's. And me and my sisters went crazy. We jumped up and down with joy, and we would play that laser disc over and over. And these were rented, so he had to re-rent it a couple of times. And I'm not a music critic, even though I would love to be, but it has to be said that their first album, and really their second too, Beauty and the Beat and Vacation, are albums that even hold up better today. And remember, this was literally the first girl group, maybe other than the Runaways, that played all their own instruments. The Go-Go's were epic, and it was all about the girl power. Their first album, Beauty and the Beat, is pop punk, and that's because they all started out as punkers in the LA punk scene. That first album, Beauty and the Beat, has a host of great songs. There's We Got the Beat, which is every kid's anthem. There's This Town, about life in the big city. There's Fading Fast, the consummate breakup song. And of course, Our Lips Are Sealed, which was my theme song. Because when my parents would fight, me and my sisters would look at one another and sing it. Can you hear them? They talk about us. Telling lies. Well, that's no surprise. Sorry about the singing. Now, even just singing those words, as if it was a minute ago rather than 35 or 40 years ago, I flash back to my house in Ontario, California, right below 4th Street on Glen. Me and my sisters would put on the Go-Go's, and I would grab a hairbrush and lip sync into it. I would wear a long skirt with a silver buckle belt, just like Belinda Carlisle had. I would wear my hair all curly. I'd wear a sweatshirt over one shoulder. But I wasn't the only one there. My twin sister Jackie was there on a tennis racket, playing guitar, mimicking the moves of Jane Wilden and Charlotte Cathy. And my little sister Annette was on the table, playing the drums with her knife and fork, offbeat, unlike Gina Shock. Where's the bassist, Kathy Valentine, you say? No one wanted to be Kathy. Sorry, Kathy. Now, I had a tambourine, and I would use that tambourine every day. I would bring it up and down while I sang the words to my favorite Go-Go song, Automatic. Inside fire burning bright, time stops, automatic. That's a great song. But it wasn't just music to me. Being Belinda was my way of imagining that another life existed. At age 6, I used to dream myself into my mom's Harlequin romance novels, imagining myself an heiress or a ward. It scarred me emotionally for life and caused my elementary school teacher to wonder aloud why I knew the word ravished. Later, I would imagine myself into Judy Blume characters or people on TV. Then, of course, Belinda and Joan Jett and Pat Benatar. But Belinda was special because everyone wanted to be Belinda. She was the epitome of coolness. And as a young child, I wasn't aware of her weight issues or her drug use or her rabble-rousing. Or maybe I was subconsciously. Aren't all cool kids just a little bit dark? Or they should be. When I hear a Go-Go song, it transports me quicker than any time machine could. I morph from a 40-something lawyer to a tween, lip-syncing into that hairbrush. And it brings back those great memories of me and my sisters rocking out in our living room. And it brings back the melancholy memories of me sitting at the park with a book and a flashlight, wondering when my mom was going to be in a better mood and stop screaming, and when my dad was going to come home. And, you know, maybe that's why I love the Go-Go's music so much. Because even though the beat is up-tempo, the lyrics are bittersweet, just like life. That's it. That's my Go-Go song. Hope you all liked it. Now, if people want to call in, my number is 909-534-5684. That's 909-534-5684. Give me a call. And I have some questions if you all want to talk about them. For one, what kind of music triggers your memories? For me, it's not just punk and post-punk. Country music was the soundtrack of my childhood. So when I hear a Johnny Cash song or I hear a Loretta Lynn song, it's like I'm a little girl again in my dad's 16-wheeler listening to that music on the jukebox in his bar. My dad had a bar. So I think that music has that special place in our hearts to where it makes us feel something that you don't feel any other way. Okay, 1 second. Looking to see if I see any comments. So the other kinds of questions I want to talk about are, what is your guilty pleasure? Are there any guilty pleasures that you have as listeners? For me, I've already told you it was Sean Cassidy. What was your favorite high school band? Wham UK, Duran Duran. I just saw Duran Duran in Palm Springs last year, and let me tell you, Duran Duran is better than ever. They all look great. They sound great. Have you ever met your idols? That's an interesting question. I'll answer it myself. I've met John Doe, who's the lead singer of X, who I adore, and Exene. I met Exene in the restroom, and I didn't even realize it was her at first. I met John Doe twice, once at a bar, and I was too scared to talk to him. And the other time I met him, I was a little inebriated, so that didn't go well either. Are you laughing, April? That's my producer. She's laughing. Oh, we have a call. Let me take it. Hi, this is Life of JEM. Who's this? Hold on. We're having some technical difficulties.
Just hit the road on the...
Yeah. It's not coming up.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Hello, are you there?
It's on the speaker. Yeah. There you go.
This is Juanita. Who's this? Hello.
Hello?
There she is.
Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
Success. Just so everyone knows and you don't judge me too harshly, this is the first time I'm doing my show on my own. Last show, my pilot episode, April Duran, my producer, was kind enough to sit in with me, and maybe she'll sit in with me again one day, but I'm trying to kind of figure this out as we go, so no judgment. So Jackie, did any of my questions hit home for you?
Well, I think like the guilty pleasures, you know, the music that we don't admit to listening to.
Tell me one of your guilty pleasures, Jackie. Come on, be honest.
I like Adam Lambert right now. Ghost Town, great tune from American Idol, which is like kind of like the antithesis of punk, right?
Right, but he headed Queen.
Commercialization of music.
He headed Queen for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and actually there's a great Netflix movie about that, and that's kind of how I didn't even know he was doing Queen. I vaguely heard about it. So now I'm listening to Adam Lambert do Queen and Ghost Town. So Kelly Clarkson, I like Kelly Clarkson. I like some American Idol people. I admit it, you know.
What's your favorite concert?
Like favorite concert was this. It's weird. It's probably Smithereens. The Smithereens is one of my all-time favorite bands. Totally underrated by, you know, like
America, I think, but I love them.
And you know
So
why
I
you
just
love them,
remember-
Jackie? It's because Dad loved Buddy Holly, and they were obsessed with Buddy Holly. And the lead singer died recently. Very sad.
What?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that.
Very recently, last year.
Cranberries. The Cranberries, she passed away too. She had like this epic voice that just shook the house. I think the Cranberries and the Smithereens, because I was at the Hollywood Palladium and they actually came down, I think. I was drunk. I don't remember. I used to drink.
Was there with you. And yes, they came down into the crowd. Yes.
See, I was right. I have vague memories of this because I really don't remember any concert until I got sober 10 years ago. And
you know why this is important, Jackie?
Why?
Because Adrian, my husband, who you know well, loves the Smithereens. And when I told him the story about them coming down into the crowd at the Hollywood Palladium, he did not believe me. So now I have a witness.
It happened because it's one of the very few memories that I remember. And I didn't remember seeing Nirvana. Melinda, our best friend, told me we saw Nirvana, and I had no recollection of seeing Nirvana. So, hey, I can't even say I saw them because I don't remember.
I have to jump in. Hi, how are you? This is April.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, April.
Hi, so nice to talk to you. And I have to say, I think I might be able to beat you guys. In 1991 or 2, I saw Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Red Hot Chili Peppers all together.
Oh,
can you believe that? And
we like a trifecta.
And oh my God. And when we were driving there, everybody was we were asking each other, who's Pearl Jam? Nobody knew who Pearl Jam was yet. Isn't that hilarious?
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
That's funny. Recently, at the Foo Fighters concert, I got a little inebriated and we went home about 20 minutes early, and they played the Nirvana catalog with Joan Jett on the stage.
That's awesome.
But I didn't see it.
Nirvana
I was home.
Can hold up. Nirvana holds up. I still listen to a lot of Nirvana. I will say that Selena, our niece, right, all these shades of Kevin Bacon, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Selena went to New York with me, and she made me go see this unknown singer at this teenager bopper thing. Guess who it was? Halsey, who's a kick-ass singer. And now I love Halsey. So she used to only be like this YouTube sensation that 14-year-old girls love. I
love Halsey's first album. She wrote that all herself.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, such a good album. And, I was going to say that, let's talk about idols you've met, but maybe you should talk about the idol you didn't meet, Jackie.
Oh, I don't want to talk about this. I'm still angry. I'm glad Mom hit you. Sorry, that was horrible. No, I don't mean that.
So, April, Melinda and I drove to Hollywood in her 64 Corvair because we knew that Oingo Boingo was going to be live at Tower Records.
Yeah. Bullshit.
And we did not bring Jackie.
Oh, Jackie.
I graduated high school. I graduated high school. No, I did not meet Oingo Boingo. My first concert ever. Oingo Boingo and X. My first concert ever.
I know.
But I graduated high school. I got to go to grad night.
But that goes back to our last story, actually, too. And the other thing I wanted to ask you, what were your junior high bands? Do you remember you had your hair blonde like Flock of Seagulls at one point?
Yeah, but I wasn't into Flock of Seagulls. I love Duran Duran. Duran Duran, Planet Earth, that's a great freaking song. Girls on Film, way ahead of its time. The video qualities, I love Duran Duran.
The Neuro stuff,
I still love
their
Duran
first
Duran.
album, all that Neuro. The Chauffeur was my favorite song on that album. Oh my God. I'd play that over and over. And they're probably one of the bands that didn't get enough credit when they were young. They were kind of like a boy band, but their music really holds up, and their lyrics are actually very profound. So thank you, Jackie, for calling in. You're my first caller. Stick around for the giveaway.
Bye.
Love you.
Oh, I'll try. I'm not very good at trivia. I usually have to look it up on my phone. So
No cheating.
Okay, bye.
Bye. But you can call in for that if you want, even if you look
I'll
it up
try.
on Wikipedia. So,
There's comments on Facebook.
oh, what are they?
Let's see. Adrian Paez says hi.
That's my husband.
Oh, hi, husband. Tracy, hey, wah.
Tracy was the one who I mentioned that I met in sociology class at Chaffey High School sophomore year. It was called YOU. And we met because we were both in love with the Smiths.
And Tracy and her sister Michelle rock.
Oh, yeah.
They rule. And let's see. Felicia says hi. So she was laughing at you earlier. Your twin sister Jackie says hi. And Miria Serrano Vea. Hi, babe.
Ah, nice. Nice. So if anyone else wants to call in and kind of talk about my questions and wax nostalgic, it's 909-534-5684. That's 909-534-5684.
Felicia says, I saw Nirvana at Spanky's in 91. Oh my God, I haven't heard Spanky's in so long.
Oh, there she is. Hi, this is Juanita. Who's this? Hold on. Let me get you on.
The roadcaster.
Let me get you on the roadcaster. Just technical thing. 1 second. Bluetooth.
You go to the speaker. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hi, this is Juanita. Who's this?
It's Felicia calling to say hi.
Thank you, Felicia, for calling in. What was your favorite show you ever went to? You go to shows like I do.
Well, one show that stands out for me the most is I went to go see the Ramones at the Reseda Country Club in '88.
Oh,
And it was like not even like, I don't know, $5 or $7 or something. It was a weekday during school, so we all drove. I went with Wesley. Remember Wesley from school?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all went, a whole bunch of us, and I think Chris Von Hatten.
Oh my
I think
God.
he went with us. I don't remember, but I remember just going to the Ramones, and I have my ticket somewhere. But I think that was like a cool concert for me because my family did not let us go to shows. So Mexican families, you can't go anywhere. You got to stay home. That kind of thing. So it was either sneaking out at night or you know what I mean, just to go to a show during the weekday. But I'll never forget that. So that was kind of cool. But I did have a chance to go to the US Festival with my uncle when I was like 12. And my grandmother, of course, said no, but I would have saw every freaking amazing band ever.
David
And
Bowie,
he brought
In
me a
Excess,
shirt, though.
U2, everyone.
I would see
Everyone.
anybody. I would have never had to go to a concert ever again in my life.
My mujer, Liz Gonzalez, if you're watching, Liz Gonzalez, one of my good writing friends, was at that festival, and she was in junior high, I believe. And it's right down the street from my house. I live in unincorporated San Bernardino, and that is the one person I never saw live was Bowie. I have him tattooed on my back. I have my Bowie pin on. I have my Bowie socks on, and loss of my life not seeing Bowie. But he's my soulmate, so we'll see each other one day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Felicia, for calling
me and
in.
you,
I know.
I just want
Let's
to say,
talk.
me and you enjoy meeting each other at shows when we go. We all meet up and we get a little really cute tank.
Yeah, her and her husband Nick. We usually, when we go to the Hollywood Bowl, we'll meet at the hotel across the street and have some drinkies.
Yeah. Well, I had to call and say hi, and I love you.
Love you too.
Love you too,
Love you too, April.
Love you, Felicia.
I've known April since she was like 14 or something.
I think
I've known
even
you for a long
younger.
time.
Yeah, we love.
And April has a really great mom too. Just hi, Mrs. Duran.
Oh, you're so sweet. Felicia, you're so awesome. I just have to say, Chris Von Hatten, I can't believe I haven't heard that name in like 30 years, right? He was, that's amazing.
Yeah, we all used to hang out with Diana and my whole little weird groups. I was always friends with everybody. I had the Heshy friends, the hip hopper friends, my disco friends, my punk rock friends, my rockabilly friends. I had every kind of friend.
Your Chola friends.
So,
We all had Chola
and I like
friends.
all that music.
That's badass.
All right, girls, have a good night.
Thank
We
you
love
for
you.
calling in. Love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Tracy or Michelle just tried to call in, so call me back at 909-534-5684. I didn't want to cut Felicia off, so call in. 909-534-5684.
Annette. Hi, Annette. She says, hi, sis.
Aww. She doesn't like talking on the phone, and her daughter was supposed to call in, and we were supposed to wax nostalgic about throwback bands. And that's another topic probably for another day, but there's bands like, and my best friend Tracy and my other best friend Melinda knows all of these, the Killers, the Strokes, the Hives, these bands, and actually the White Stripes too. These bands are throwback bands. And the reason I love throwback bands is you hear their music and it's like you've heard it before. You've heard it your whole life. Don't you think, April?
Yes, I mean, they're so awesome. I actually saw the Killers up north, and it was so cute. Oh.
Hi, this is Jem. Who's this?
It's your BFF.
Hi, Tracy. Is for Tracy. So Tracy and I call each other. She calls me Wawa. I call her Trey Trey. So what's up, Trey Trey? Let's talk about some music.
What do you want to talk about? Like, we talking about high school. I missed some of it. That sound just like went off. So I was lost. Like, I don't know where I got lost. I got lost in the last part of Jackie's conversation and the last part of whoever just called. I think it was Felicia. And I just heard the tail end. I had to switch it to Bluetooth, so I missed some stuff. So where are we at?
Let's talk about your favorite junior high school band. And I know the answer to it, but what is it? Who is it?
Duran Duran. Duran Duran, of course. I was obsessed.
Did you think you were going to marry John Taylor?
Of course. And who didn't? You know how many letters I wrote, and we sprayed it with perfume and colored it, and we sent it in, and we were swearing that we would meet him, and it never happened. We never got a letter back either, so it's disappointing.
Hi, Tracy. I
But
bet you wish you had my last name, huh? Hi, Tracy.
Yes, I do. And I would put like a little 2, like right behind your name.
You're so cute.
I'd legally change it to Duran too.
Well, and you know, the funny thing is, John Taylor just still looks great. Simon Le Bon looks great. They still sound great. I mean, Nick Rhodes still looks great. No one ever liked Andy Rhodes. He was kind of the Kathy Valentine of Duran Duran.
Yeah, that's what's sad to say. And I just we always felt guilty for like saying that about him. We're like, poor Andy.
No one wants to marry you.
No one wants. You're number 5, okay? Sorry.
No,
but now
yeah,
they've aged so well. You know, like Simon looks amazing. Like, oh my God, but he's Scorpio, so you know, Scorpios age very well. But yeah,
we saw them recently together. What'd you think of their concert when we saw them at Palm Springs? We saw them with you a couple years back.
Great. Yeah, no, it was great. I wish we could have saw them again after that. But I was really impressed, you know, because I didn't think they would hold up. You know, I thought it would sound pitchy, and Simon sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
To me. I mean, he sounded great.
What was your favorite Duran Duran song?
Oh my God, there's too many. Like when someone says, what's your favorite, whatever, I can't even go there, but I have favorites. Like I think if I had to pick one, someone was like, here's a knife, here's throat, you know, pick one. I would say probably Save a Prayer. But I have a lot of B-sides that are my favorite too. Like Secret October. I don't know if people are familiar with it. It was a B-side to Union of Snakes when the 45s were out. That's like totally like one of my favorites. But yeah, and I love Planet Earth.
Me
just
too.
so many Careless Memories. It just kind of went with what was going on, and then you're like, oh my God, this is my new favorite. My favorite. You know, things resonate. They're just like, you know, you pick a song and it all means something different, you know?
Yeah, and the fact that you bring up 45s, you know, the people now probably don't. I mean, they're kind of back, right? You can collect 45s now if you go to the record stores.
Yeah.
But my first 45 was Billy Idol's "Dancing with Myself," which was actually a Generation X song that he released solo. But I love that song.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know, speaking of that, because I liked "Eyes Without a Face," and then on the flip side of that, the best song, my favorite Billy Idol song was Blue Highway. And I discovered that from that. And that's always been my favorite Billy Idol song.
Yeah, and we saw Billy Idol recently together as well. He was at what festival was it, Tracy?
He's great too. Well, we went to two because we saw him with Morrissey, remember,
Yeah.
at the Hollywood Bowl. And then we saw him again on your birthday a couple years ago up at DeVore. And he did great there too. He was very entertaining still. He looks amazing. He's got so
took
much
off his
energy. I'm
shirt,
just impressed.
And he's in his 60s, and it was like six pack. No,
I know.
Great,
Where do they get all this energy from? At that age, I hope I have it.
And Tracy, you remember one of our favorite bands in high school was Generation X, which is Billy Idol's first punk band. Yeah. And that album, from beginning to end, their first album is just, I think it's self-titled, is just such an amazing album. He does a John Lennon song. Do
you remember how much we played that tape? I think we almost busted it up. It was so overplayed in my little red cup.
Yeah,
I love that one.
And they were not well respected as a punk band when they came out. They were actually kind of like, even though Billy Idol hung out with Chrissie Hynde and all the Sex Pistols, people really didn't take them seriously. But that album holds up as well. I really don't think when you're in the time that you can really judge the music. It really takes time and perspective. Tracy, talk about throwback bands. What's your favorite throwback band?
Like from what generation? Because there's so many
Well, music now,
like
the Strokes, 80s throwback band. What's your favorite?
I don't know. I guess the Buzzcocks, I think, would be my favorite.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, because they're the post-punk and the things that I just, I don't know. There's something about them and it still holds up now, and I don't know. But I do love Strokes.
Oh, me
I love
too.
Strokes, Block Party, oh my God, there's so many that had influences. I don't even know, how, they're so influenced, all these newer bands, by so many of those bands, and that's the same with Duran Duran. They had disco influence and punk influence, Roxy Music. Everything's an influence from influence from influence. So it's just a broad thing, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and it's funny. So many love. Because you brought up Block Party, and they're so influenced by The Cure. And then Spoon, who doesn't sound like The Cure, he said he got into, when he was in junior high or whatever, The Cure, and, it saved his life. And that's why he became a band member. And, I think that, all what you said it's influence upon influence. Bowie influenced so many people. And I think that's why he's a god to me, in a way. It's not it's not blasphemous. I worship him. I worship his artistic integrity, the way he would morph, and Morrissey in many ways, politically I don't agree with him, but his music saved me. It saved me in high school.
No. There was a lot of that for us.
Yeah. What about Susie? We have to talk about Susie.
Yeah, that's my favorite for all time. I mean, talk about the darkest days when you're in high school and you feel like an outcast and you don't fit in, and everybody was going a direction. And when I discovered Susie and my friend Carrie, that was this little punk rock chick right before I met you, she got me all into The Cure and into Susie, and I could totally sit there and I just got lost in her music. And ever since then, I think she's amazing. She's my idol. I love that lady.
Yeah, and
I would always listen to that.
She really defied genres, because back then punk was more inclusive. There wasn't these subcategories, and I think everything from Sex Pistols to Buzzcocks to New York Dolls to it was all considered punk, to Joy Division, which is a post-punk band, but all the punkers loved them some Ian and Joy Division, and and then came New Order. So yeah. So what show do you think you'll get to see, Trey?
My what?
What show do you think you'll get to see first next year?
Oh my God, I don't even know. Oh, I don't know.
She loves Korn.
I know.
Crazy. She converted me.
All kinds of genres.
I did not like Korn.
Aren't they from Bakersfield? Are they from? I think one of my old roommates went to high school with them, because we used to get to go see them. Yeah. Sarah Majors, if you're listening, she grew up in Bakersfield.
Yeah, another band that's heavily influenced by The Cure. Yeah.
Totally. Robert Smith was Jonathan Davis's idol. They'd saved him, in high school, because he went through a lot of bullying and was called a lot of slanderous names because he was all into music. We put up with a lot too, because we were outcasted because we were into music, and that was his influence, and that's what got him through high school.
you know, and that's why I like him and I like his lyrics because he really like sings it from all his experiences and all the things he went through. Like that's what people kind of don't understand about music, you know.
Well, it's
It
like
goes very deep and about, you know, what people's been through.
it's like, to me, Korn is much like the Pixies. The first time you hear the Pixies, it's jarring and you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you listen to it and
Yeah.
listen to it, and you find the soft within the hard, and you find the
Right.
beauty, and then you listen to the lyrics and you're blown away. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would love Korn until Tracy took me to see them live, and I was blown friggin' away. I was like, oh
Yep.
my God, I didn't know. I honestly.
And you didn't even catch them in their prime. Like when I saw them in their prime, I saw them like 10 times. They were amazing, but they blew it out of the water that Vegas show, and I'm glad you got to see that.
You two need to start a music show here. Tracy, yeah, you two, I think you guys would get so many callers, I'm sure.
And that's
Oh,
the thing.
yeah.
Like, yeah, Tracy
Yeah, we could
introduced
talk about
me to a
music
lot
all
of
day.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's people that introduced me to a lot of bands, people I've met on Facebook and groups. I mean, it's amazing. Like genres I didn't even know about, like shoegaze and different types of electronic music. It's just, I'm just like open my mind so much, and I appreciate so much, you know. But I love music. So
Michelle Gonzalez, is that your friend who went to the Yes Festival?
Michelle Gonzalez is the drummer from Spit Boy, and her and I met at a writing festival.
Oh yeah, she said, yeah, Us Festival, The Clash. And so that, which is funny because my fiance was like, didn't you live here? How come you weren't at the Us Festival? And I'm like, I would have gone when I was like 8, I think. I don't think it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, The Clash is one of her favorite bands. Michelle's amazing. She's an amazing drummer. She's an amazing writer and professor. And Spit Boy is an amazing punk band that in the 90s, I have to admit, I wasn't into Nirvana or any other music. I was a club rat. So I would go to clubs and listen to house music. Oh. And so I went through this house music phase. That's why I say, like, there's no shame because everything influences everything. And look at electronic music now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah. Evolved a lot. There's some, like, who started it? Kraftwerk. I think they were the pioneers of it all.
Mm-hmm. God bless him. Scene. Yeah, he passed recently too. And Lori Majewski, who is one of my girl crush idols on Sirius Radio, did a whole Kraftwerk episode. It was like an hour long, and all these very famous bands from Duran Duran to New Order to everyone called in and said why Kraftwerk was basically the pioneers of this music, and people would pick his tunes from or take little pieces and use them in different songs and like steal them. And what do they say? Like the best form of flattery is like stealing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like even OMD got their influence from Kraftwerk. They were like blown away. I saw this documentary the other day that a friend of mine shared, and they went to see like all their shows, and they were blown away, and that's how they got started by that influence.
Yeah, and how many bands got started because of Sex Pistols, right? How many bands got started because of, seeing, including Joy Division, right? There would be no Joy Division without Sex Pistols. And I'm a huge Sex Pistols fan. Tracy, who was on my wall.
I remember.
Who was on my wall?
Sid Vicious.
Sid!
And I got you that poster, remember? When we were like 1989, I think it was Christmas. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we have to do a whole nother show on music movies because Tracy and I used to watch movies over and over. Dogs in Space with Michael Hutchins from INXS, who is my husband's favorite. Love you, babe. Had to say Michael's name. Rest in peace. And and then we would watch Sid and Nancy over and over and over. We knew all the words, right, Trey?
We're like obsessed. We were obsessed. Yeah.
Obsessed. Okay, well, thank you for calling in, Trey.
Yeah, I let someone else call, so we could go on and on and on, but, just kidding.
I'm going to make you come
April,
in here.
It's finally nice to talk to you, April. I haven't
so
met you
nice.
yet,
I know. So nice talking to you, and give your sister a hug for me, please.
Thanks, everyone who's called in.
She'll totally remember you. She totally remembers you.
Awesome.
Okay, I'll let someone else call in, you guys. I'll
Love
try
you,
to back
Trey.
on
Thank
so
you.
Check out your live show.
Bye.
All right, love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Trey, for calling in. I think it's time to give away my giveaway.
All right. I just want to tell you really quick, Myra Demas on Facebook, the best show, the Cure for the Wish tour at the Rose Bowl. at Demode at the Rose Bowl, Bauhaus at Coachella.
Oh.
Peter Murphy was hanging upside down and saying Bella Lugosi's dead. And my month following The Cure in Europe was epic, and meeting Susie. She met her. Who's Myra? Myra rules.
Myra Demas is one of my good friends from the K-Rock page. We meet up at concerts all the time. We just met up at Morrissey, was our last show at Hollywood Bowl, and we drank some seltzers and in the parking lot, and well, actually across the street from the bowl. And Myra is probably the biggest music fan I know. She literally followed The Cure around Europe. She goes to so many shows. She loves electronic as well. She's really into dark music. And just the word Bauhaus, I saw them right before the pandemic hit about 6 months ago, and it was one of the best nights of my life. I saw them with my husband, and I'm really glad we went, because this is the thing about shows. You always think, oh, I don't want to go. It's too late. It's at 7 o'clock and it's a weeknight, and we got to drive out to the Hollywood Palladium from San Bernardino. Like, who wants to do that on a Thursday night when you got to be in court at 8:30 on a Friday? But we ended up going, and I was just so glad that we went. And we both said afterwards, we're just so glad we went. And so I think it just reminds you, this pandemic, just to tie it into today real quick, this pandemic reminds us to live life to the fullest. And the way you live your life is whatever your passion is. So if your passion's music, go to a live show when you can. Screw it. Pappy and Harriet's is my favorite venue. And if there's one place I would tell everyone you have to see a band, I saw X at Pappy and Harriet's. My sister saw the Pixies and Paul McCartney there on different days. I was supposed to see the Pixies, but I was in the hospital. But I've seen the Pixies like 10 times anyways. But I would just say, go see whatever band you want to see at your favorite venue, and don't not go. Just go.
Just go. And this is the cutest post. Fidel put, how many of us watching have been to at least one show with JEM? I thought that was so cute. I had to say that. But yeah, it's giveaway time, huh?
It's so true. The thing is, I love meeting people at shows. We always meet up. We have a drink. We even try to buy our tickets by each other. I think the last show I saw with Fidel was Natalie Merchant with him and his wife, but I could be wrong. It could have been something else. We were supposed to see Metallica together, but we didn't. Or maybe there was another band that my husband likes that I don't like that we were supposed to see. But anyways, I digress. It's time to give away this piece of vinyl. So I think we'll do it via the comments. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to do it via the comments just so it's fair. That way people aren't trying to call in. So
There's a little delay, but yeah.
Or what do you think about making people call in?
Yeah.
909-534-5684. That's 909-534-5684. And the trivia question is, and I know this trivia question by heart, so I don't have to ask it. What was Belinda Carlisle's first band?
Ooh.
And I have a hint if no one calls in. And for extra credit, and I'll write you a little note if you can get the extra credit, what name did she go by?
Oh, that's a good one.
And hint, it's a punk band. It's a seminal punk band. So...
And when the Go-Go's, when they first started playing, they would get stuff thrown at them because they were in punk venues, right? Opening up for punk bands. And they were like, who are these chicks? What are they trying to do? Because they had that little pop feel, like you said.
Yeah.
So they weren't having it out in L.A.
I mean, much like Blondie, right? Blondie morphed from punk, kind of punk influenced, at least post-punk, to, pop. And who can say that Blondie's albums aren't amazing?
They're amazing. And she loved to rap. Mm-hmm. And that's why she rapped in, Rapture. And she wanted to rap more, but they didn't let her. How crazy is that?
How crazy.
I know.
My favorite Blondie song is Sunday Girl. I don't know why. Me and Melinda, my other best friend, would sing it all the time. And I think that's why it's that muscle memory I have when I hear that song.
Uh-huh.
You just feel it. And I love karaoke. Do you like karaoke?
I can't sing, so I get all nervous. But this record, man, who wants to win this record? It's killing me.
So let's see. Does anyone know who the Belinda Carlisle's first band was? I'm trying to multitask, and I'm usually a pretty good multitasker, but for some reason,
Belinda Carlisle's first band, it was out in L.A.?
Yes.
Out in L.A., and it was a punk band?
It was a punk band.
And she went by, did the band go by a different name, or did she go by a different name?
Well, she went by, I'm going to give away the hint. She went by Dodie Danger.
Wow.
And she was the lead singer of a very well known but kind of underground punk band.
Who's going to call? Let's throw out that number again.
909-534-5684. That's 909-534-5684. And if we don't get to it tonight and I see it in the comments, I'm going to mail this out to you, okay?
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'll give it to April.
I should give it to April.
No, I'm just kidding. Or you could give it away next week, too.
Or I can give it away next week if someone wants to call in. I'm not going to give away the answer just because, like...
No.
And I would say that if anyone wants to really hear about the Go-Go's and their history, Jane Wilden... Oh, there's a call. This is Juanita. Juanita. Hi, Felicia.
Hello.
Who's this? Is this
Hi.
Felicia?
Yes, the germ.
The who?
The germ.
Yep, that's right.
No way. Oh, wait. Here we go.
Yay! You're right. And she used to wear a trash bag, and she used to wear her eyeliner kind of smudge, and she was all sweaty, and she was so punk rock. And so that's when people put down the Go-Go's. Oh, that's pop. No, if you listen to their first album is pop punk. It's such a great album, and you hear the punk influences. And Michelle Gonzalez, who's a good friend of mine as well, is obsessed with the Go-Go's. There's a lot of people that were influenced by this band, and they were influenced by the punk band, so it kind of makes sense.
Felicia won.
So Felicia, I'm going to go over your house and bring this to you when this is all over, or I will mail it to you.
Bowl.
I want a scorpion bowl. That's right. You know me too well.
Famous Yancey Scorpion Bowl.
Okay, thank you, Felicia. I'll mail this out to you. Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye. So, someone knew the answer. I told that to my husband last night, and he didn't know the answer, and I was like, oh, maybe this is, I just know a lot about Belinda Carlisle because I'm obsessed with her, and I've never met her. So, okay, that's our show for tonight. Thanks, everyone, for listening in. We really appreciate you waxing nostalgic about music. And next show, I've decided, is going to be a food show. It's going to be a foodie story I wrote about 1980s fast food. So get ready for that next week. See you soon. Rock on.